Okay, it is 6 o'clock on October 24th. And I'll call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Here tonight is Ms. Judith Whiteside, Mr. Alan Slavin, Mr. Jared Chadwick, Mr. Ron Bessie, and Mr.
Derek Sullivan.
I was going to say Jared Sullivan, which is wrong person, Derek Sullivan.
Been called worse. Not really.
Okay,
And myself.
and yourself. At the moment, Mr. Bowen is not here, but we do expect him. I would like to have you, one of you, volunteer to do the pledge. Attaboy. Make it up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I like the well-faced you, Bob.
I'm going to go to item 4B, which is the approval of the minutes for October 6th. There are two copies here because Peter Teitelbaum wanted to record for the WRAD. So I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes of October 6th.
So made.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, thank you very much. We have two articles that we need to vote on, in my opinion. Is that correct? Oh, dear Sullivan?
Yeah, it should be the union. Is it
The union contracts, which is Article 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have figures for that, in case anybody asks?
Yeah.
They're right in it? No?
So, pop right in. We have the clerical union, and then the laborers, clerical, or so the support staff. So going through it, it's a 3-year contract from July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. There's some contract amendments that you've been sent in there. Just some just about seniority from transferring. Juneteenth is added as a listed paid holiday, which it should be, given the way the governor signed it. We also amended that, you say in there about educational assistance, they just need to, that hasn't been funded in God knows how long, so we've just amended the contract that they can certainly ask for it, but
It hasn't been funded, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
always been subject to appropriation. There hasn't really been any appropriation on it. We also, the steps are part of upon a satisfactory reviews instead of just automatic steps.
Good.
And then we smoothed out the steps in that, your steps are now step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you advanced every year on those. So rather than 10-year and 20-year for your 7th and 8th step. And that's one of the things that, was helpful to the unions. And then in honor of those union employees that are long-term employees, those that have had 10 years of service or more get $1,000 every year until 20th year, and at that point they get $1,500 where they didn't have that before. There is 15 full-time, 5 part-time employees impacted by this. And then first year, obviously not including steps, is $27,000 home change liability. So.
Okay, there are any questions?
Motion to approve favorable action.
Second?
Motion made to recommend favorable action. Any further discussion?
I just have a question
Yep.
on it. On Article 5, there are, I think, 7 or 8
Yep.
listing. We have 2 completed. So are we voting on this article to cover all 7 or 8
No,
or just the 2?
just the 2. And that's the way the motion will be established up on.
Just the ones that are set to go.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it was unanimous. Thank you very much. The reports, I'd like a motion to hear the reports, please.
Judy, I'll go through municipal maintenance real quick too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is the laborers union. It covers from mechanics to lead techs, heavy equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers, / really custodians. We have, so it covers a total of 16 persons, including the 4 mechanics. Interestingly enough, our mechanics division has now started to take over for the school maintenance department, their fleet of vehicles, their 4 vehicles we maintain now too. But yeah, it would change a little, it's a 3-year contract as well. If you look at number 2, hours of work, change second paragraph. The regular work week for the full-time employee shall consist of 5 consecutive days, Monday through Friday, or Tuesday through Saturday for no more than 1 heavy equipment operator and 1 laborer. And that was just something that's been going on, and we've codified that. So we've deleted the paragraph where they get comp time for any time that the town hall is shut down due to emergency operations, such as snow and ice or anything. So, let's see, and then overtime shall be defined and compensated for all hours of work excess of 40 hours per week, and we deleted the Fair Labor Standards portion of that. So, then in compensation, what we're doing is we're dropping step 1 and placing employees on the step which provides them an increase over their previous rate of pay. If you drop a step and then add the step, that would be you would have what's called a double bounce in that year, so you don't do that. Then we added a new step 9, which is 3% greater than the old step 9, because we started getting heavy on some of the employees that were at the end of the contract. Then we amended the existing salary schedule to reflect a clean 9-step schedule. Step 8 will be for 8th year, step 9 will be for 9th year. So similar pattern to what we've done before, steel workers and clerical as well. Current employees advance a step each year from their FY22 step, and that's always on July 1 is when they do the advancements. And then this is year 1, then we increased salary schedules by 3%. And we added a special heavy equipment operator will receive an annual stipend of $1,500 for holding a Class A CDL 4E and 4G hydraulic licenses, which is helpful for us to be able to run the machinery. Effective July 1, 2023, it's a 2% increase, and then the next year is a 2% increase. Then longevity, for 15 consecutive years, those employees will get a $500 longevity. And mechanics now receive a tool allowance of $500 instead of $250. So that's their full package.
How are we doing as opposed to other towns around us?
We've caught up on some of them. There's some departments that you have to make some of the amendments, but that's been the goal and help of the selectmen has been to try and get away with us lagging so severely some of the other places.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion?
Motion for favorable action.
Second.
Motion made to recommend favorable action. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask for a motion on Article 5, just to recommend favorable action on Article 5.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for favorable action. Yep, go ahead.
So Article 5 are the union contracts. Article 6 is the one for occasional reports.
Right.
So I thought we'd already voted on the union contracts.
No, we haven't, because we didn't have, we brought them up last week, but we couldn't vote because he didn't have figures and, okay? All right. All those in favor of recommending favorable action, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, it is unanimous. May I have a motion to hear the occasional reports?
Motion so moved.
Second.
Motion made to hear the occasional reports, and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it is unanimous. And I think that's it, am I right, Trish?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. All right, for the agenda, we have another thing that I'm gonna actually have either Rich or Derek explain. The discussion and possible vote on Division 1, Article 1, Section 2, certification. Do you wanna?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you pop a wheel in that thing?
Okay.
No, because it's broken, actually. And Jared was trying to pull it apart, and if I move too much, I'm gonna fall through. It's gonna squash me in. And if you laugh,
Well, glad I went there.
yeah,
There's a, in town meeting, as you know, under the bylaws, it's the lottery system, articles come up when they get pulled out of Van White's revolving basket. So, the drafters of the bylaws hit on a good idea, and said, was that yours, Alan? Alan hit on a good idea, and the people went with it, that from time to time, there will be articles that because of their nature, it would be important to hear them first before you get to other financial articles. So in this particular case, you have reports, which usually reports, not a big deal, but here you're gonna have a Deacon School report, you're gonna have a Public Safety Building Committee report. And obviously, you know, those, depending on what people report on, those might have consequences for you. And then there's also a separate Article 29, which I think is to authorize the town administrator to take certain actions with respect to the deed building. So, using Alan's bylaw, as I will call it, the bylaws allow the Board of Selectmen to vote to certify to the moderator that certain articles have financial consequences such that they should be heard before any other articles. And at Madam Chairman's request, I prepared a draft certification to the moderator. Motion is, I move that the board vote pursuant to bylaws Division 1, Article 1, Section 2, to certify that Articles 6 and 30 should be taken up together, and that Article 29 should be taken up immediately thereafter. The purpose would be to allow for those matters to be heard first before we get into other financial obligations, if the board were to vote this certification.
any questions?
Yeah, Article 29, is not that on a resolution though?
It's, you know, you're right on, it's more in the nature of a resolution, but I thought where it was tied so closely to the report under Article 6, it might be worth just putting them all together. Your call, of course, though.
My only concern is what the public's gonna hear, what they're gonna think if it's voted yes.
Yeah.
Are they gonna think that whatever that report is, Mr. Sullivan's gonna implement?
I don't know how it will be proposed to the meeting. You know, I think it's pretty clear to you, obviously. Under the charter, this is at the discretion of the town administrator, and the article itself doesn't purport to do anything more than to authorize. It doesn't require, it doesn't say force, nor could it.
So my question really is, do we basically bite the bullet and explain that to the body before voting, so there's no misapprehension? Because I guarantee the body, if it's voted yes, I think that's what's gonna happen. Because they still don't remember that town meeting when the school, on the town meeting warrant, gave the property back to the town. It gave it back to the, basically the town, for the Board of Selectmen to make a decision whether to dispose or reuse it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's left.
Yeah.
And this article bypasses really that topic. We're not involved in that article at all.
Yeah.
And that's to the town administrator, and that's not, we've already voted as a board what to do.
Sure. Well, up to you guys.
I just don't want to have that confusion because it's come back and bite everybody with it.
I think it's really important that that is understood, right up front. This means nothing. Nothing. You can't tell him what to do.
Because if you're sitting in the audience and you read to see if the town will vote to approve and accept the recommendation of the Deed Steering Committee as presented and authorize such action, that tells me, that makes me seemingly understand that it approves their plan to be enacted.
And what they're doing is the town administrator is authorized, so he's sitting there being a bad guy at the end if he doesn't do what it said. I don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, there are definite political considerations that are being advanced here, and you know, I'll be happy to answer any question quickly.
I just look at this as a no-win if we don't make it clear.
I agree.
This is lose, lose, lose.
No matter how it ends up,
It's
we're
not
gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want to do is have Mr. Sullivan sit there taking a hit because he doesn't go ahead and do what I think he should do. He's already taken enough of this as it's gone along. So my question is, when we get to this article, is it okay if the moderator turns to you and asks for an explanation of this article? I know,
That's like saying,
I'm putting you in a tough spot.
that's like saying, well, you know, Rich, is it okay if the moderator asks you to take a high dive off a tall cliff?
When this article came, do you want me to ask the moderator for me to ask?
For clarification,
Let me put it this way.
How would you like to do it?
I'm always happy to answer any question that's put to me.
I just want to do that everybody in this room is happy and the audience understands.
Yeah.
the point.
I mean, I will have nothing to say to the meeting that I haven't said to the meeting at prior meetings or at your meetings or, for that matter, anybody who's asked me. It is what it is.
Rich, if I may, if I'm hearing you, what you're saying, what's being said is, no, I'm not gonna make a big, long statement, you need to ask me the
Yeah,
question.
well, yeah, I'm not gonna make a political presentation because that's not my job. Policy boards, gosh, this sounds awful. Policy boards come and go, policies change. So I answer the questions that are quickly. You know what I'm going to say on this, it's a resolution. And I think the people who drafted it the way they did because they themselves know it's a resolution. And I wouldn't say it's an unimportant thing. It is important. It's politically important. Legally, not so much.
but I think that distinction needs to be made because
There'll be a war in town if it's not clearly
Yeah.
understood.
everybody needs to hear it, that it holds no water. I mean, I'll
In a,
or more
in
water.
a blunt way, it holds, but in a more political way, letting them know that it's,
Jerry was gonna make jokes, but I can't finish that sentence. No.
but yeah, I 100% agree. I think it needs to be, in not so many words, known that this is just a resolution and it still doesn't make the town administrator have to act on anything. If he chooses to on anything in there, then that's at his discretion. I think that's what needs to be understood, is it's his discretion on what happens.
Alan, and you're not putting me in a bad spot.
I just want to make it
This is my job, you know. People ask me legal questions, I give the answers. Sometimes
goes both ways.
they're popular, sometimes they're not.
Because we as a
But they're
board,
the answers.
we as a board have officially voted to go ahead with the overall game plan Mr. Sullivan has.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
and
you know, if we don't say something at this time, then how does Mr. Sullivan do it? He's got to answer from us what to do. He has an answer from the deeper study vote at town meeting. What does he do? He can't do anything.
well, the town meeting gave it to the board of selectmen for disposition, not dispose of, disposition, and that means whatever. Well, we chose whatever.
He chose to reuse it.
We chose to reuse it as a town hall,
Which is municipal purposes.
which is municipal
And
purposes.
if I recollect the restriction that was put on you, not by the first town meeting in the second, but in the second one, that was just, you can't sell it.
Yeah.
And that's,
But we can sell it tomorrow.
No.
well,
I wouldn't want to, but I'm saying that we could.
well, you can get back to me on that one.
Okay, I'll take it back.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that at a later time.
The courts have a wonderful phrases in their cases. We need not arrive at that question today.
Okay.
Do we leave Article 29 on separate?
If everything I need, I gotta get some stuff
Yeah.
done beforehand.
Okay.
I would, okay, I guess this is more management, meeting management advice than necessarily legal advice. So I'll put on my former moderator hat and say that if I were the moderator, I would probably want to group the deepest stuff together because, you know, with one article you whetted people's appetite rather than waiting for luck of the draw. Just, you know, get it done while people are focused.
So 30 should come before 29.
Hear the report first, so 6 and 30 would be our line, and then take up 29 next.
Which is,
Is that how it's written?
yeah, to certify that Articles 6 and 30 should be taken up together, and that Article 29 should be taken up immediately thereafter.
Okay, so when 29 comes up, I'll get up and ask the moderator
That question.
permission to ask town council.
You want to see it again?
Sure.
Well,
Yeah,
no, I have
I'm ready.
I have concerns, and I
It is what it
want
is.
to make sure it's very clear to the public what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm asking town council to
clarify.
clarify and explain to the
And I'm
public.
not gonna say anything on this that I haven't said
I know.
a dozen times before at a dozen meetings.
I just know if we don't come back, it won't be nice.
Does that work best for you, Mr. Sullivan? Structure it that way? No
It's
problem.
fine by me.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask for a vote on this. Are there any further questions on this? May I have a motion to vote to authorize the clerk, our clerk, to sign this certification, which says certification. Moderator, I move the board vote pursuant to bylaws, Division 1, Article 1, Section 2, to certify that Articles 6 and 30 should be taken up together, and that Article 29 should be taken up immediately thereafter. And the explanation is that the Public Safety Building and Deacon's Building reports and articles may have important fiscal consequences and should be heard first. The selectmen vote yes. Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 5-0-0. Okay, so,
Unless you need me, I would like to take that to Madam Moderator and discuss it with her.
she has a copy for Madam Moderator. Trish does.
Yeah, we can make sure Mark is comfortable with it too. This is number one for her, so.
Do you want to?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Second
Oh,
one?
no. Once
Any further business to come before this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, unanimous. Thank you. All right.